The year is 2026. You are driving to work, obeying every law and maintaining a perfect record. But suddenly, your car pulls over on its own. The digital doors lock, and a surveillance drone hovers directly above you. You haven't committed a crime, at least not yet. But according to the central AI grid, there is a 98% probability that you are about to. Welcome to the era of pre-crime. This is a world where the ancient legal pillar of innocent until proven guilty has been dismantled and replaced by a new, cold reality: guilty by calculation. For decades, we believed our thoughts were the final sanctuary of privacy. But as the global grid matured into a sentient web, it began collecting more than just your location or your browsing history. It started mapping your very intent. By using hypersensitive sensors to analyze the micro-tremors in your voice, the subtle dilation of your pupils, and the sudden involuntary changes in your heart rate. The AI can now sense a criminal impulse long before it manifests in any physical action. This isn't a science fiction movie plot anymore. It is the seamless integration of predictive policing and neurosurveillance. In this opening chapter, we pull back the curtain on how governments and global corporations have collaborated to build an invisible judge. A judge that never sleeps, never forgets, and convicts you in the silent shadows of the digital realm. The cage is no longer made of iron bars around your body, it is made of invisible code around your entire future. To understand how the grid predicts your future, you must first understand a concept that has remained hidden from the public eye: a digital twin. By 2026, every citizen in the developed world has a virtual shadow, a massive data-driven mirror of your entire physical existence. This isn't just a profile on a social media site. It is a live, breathing simulation of your life. Every search query you type in a moment of curiosity, every GPS coordinate your phone pings at 3 a.m., and every microtransaction for a cup of coffee is fed into a massive black box AI. It doesn't just know what you bought. It understands your stress levels, your political frustrations, and your psychological breaking point. This is Predictive Policing 2.0. In the shadows of our cities, powerful algorithms like Palantir and Gotham, once reserved only for the world's most elite military units, are now embedded into the fabric of local law enforcement. These systems assign every individual a risk score. This score is dynamic, changing in real time as you move through your day. If you visit a certain neighborhood deemed unstable, buy a specific combination of chemicals, or simply stop following your predictable daily routine, your score spikes into the red. The most terrifying aspect of this reality is that you are being judged by a machine that views any deviation from the norm as a threat. You are being watched by a human who can understand context or emotion. You are being calculated by an algorithm that operates on cold, hard data. In this digital court, the logic is hidden behind proprietary code, and when the system flags you, there is no lawyer to call. Because in the eyes of the AI, the crime is already a mathematical certainty. In the traditional legal systems we've known for centuries, the process was clear: an accusation, an arrest, a public trial, and then a sentence. But in the 2026 global grid, the court has moved behind the firewall. It is an invisible court where there are no judges in robes, no juries of your peers, and absolutely no right to appeal. When the predictive AI flags you as a social or economic risk, your punishment doesn't begin with a knock on the door or a pair of handcuffs. Instead, it begins with a series of silent digital rejections. It starts with a notification on your smartphone: access denied, transaction declined, identity temporarily suspended. This is what experts call administrative exclusion. Without a single formal charge ever being filed against you, the invisible court has the power to revoke your fundamental rights in real time. Suddenly, you find that the high-speed rail gates won't open for you. Your electric vehicle's GPS restricts you from leaving your assigned 15-minute district because your risk score is too high for travel. You try to pay for groceries, but the programmable currency in your digital wallet has been remotely disabled for non-essential items. By the time you realize you are being punished, the sentence is already halfway through. You haven't lost your life, but you have lost your ability to function as a free human being in a modern society. This system feeds on silence and efficiency. Because there is no physical violence, there is often no public outcry. You are simply erased from the economic and social fabric. one algorithm at a time. The invisible court doesn't need to put you in a physical cell when it can simply turn off the world around you. As we look closer, we must ask, in a world governed by math, where is the room for mercy? But what happens when the invisible judge makes a mistake? What happens when the machine, for all its trillions of calculations, simply gets it wrong? By 2026, we're witnessing the emergence of a new kind of victim, the glitch in the grid. These are thousands of ordinary people who have fallen through the cracks of a flawed code. A simple error in facial recognition, caused by bad lighting or a low-resolution camera, can misidentify a peaceful citizen as a violent criminal on a watch list. A misinterpreted bank transfer to a family member abroad can trigger a terrorism flag in a split second. In the digital grid, there is no such thing as a human misunderstanding. There is only data. If the AI predicts you are a threat based on a correlation, perhaps because of the books you've read or the websites you've visited, you are treated as a criminal. The system doesn't need to be right. It only needs to be final. In this environment, your innocence is irrelevant to the math. You cannot argue with an algorithm. You cannot protest to a server. Suddenly, your life is frozen in a state of permanent suspicion. You are fighting a ghost in the machine. When the code becomes the law, justice is no longer about truth. It is about probability. We are creating a world where we trust numbers more than human intuition, ignoring the fact that numbers can be manipulated and algorithms can be biased. As the grid tightens, we see that the most dangerous weapon of the 21st century isn't a bomb. It's a line of code that has decided you no longer belong in society. By 2026, the pre-crime algorithm has found its perfect, terrifying partner, the unified social credit system. This is the moment where surveillance transcends law and enters the realm of morality. It is no longer just about preventing a physical crime. It is about rewarding total obedience and punishing even the slightest hint of dissent through a live 24/7 behavioral score. Imagine a world where every action you take, both public and private, is assigned a value. Your score is fed by a relentless stream of data. Did you buy too much alcohol this week? Points deducted. Did you spend too many hours playing video games or watching unapproved content? Points deducted. Did you associate with someone whose own score has fallen into the red? Your score drops by association. The grid doesn't need to put you in a physical prison if it can simply lower your status until you become a ghost in your own city. This is the ultimate behavioral leash. It forces you to self-censor. You stop asking difficult questions. You stop protesting. You stop being a rebel. Not because a soldier is pointing a gun at your head, but because the algorithm is pointing at your bank account, your children's school applications, and your very right to exist in the digital economy. Compliance is the new currency. In this system, freedom is no longer a birthright. It is a temporary privilege granted to those who stay silent and obey the machine. But as the shadows grow longer, the question remains, is there any way to break the circuit? The digital cage of 2026 is built on a single, fragile foundation: your total cooperation. The algorithm can only predict your behavior if you continue to feed it your data, your habits, and your fears. But across the globe, a silent but powerful resistance is beginning to form. People are choosing to vanish from the grid, not by hiding in the shadows, but by reclaiming their digital sovereignty. This is the era of the digital ghost. To beat the machine, you must become unreadable to its censors. The first step to freedom in this new world is economic disconnect. As CBDCs and programmable money try to chain your every purchase, the resistance is turning back to physical assets: gold, silver, and the power of local, peer-to-peer bartering. When you trade outside the digital wallet, you cut the leash. The grid cannot tax what it cannot see. It cannot freeze what it does not track. Every cash transaction is a small act of revolution. Every community that builds its own food and energy supply becomes a fortress that no AI can breach. But the ultimate battlefield is not your wallet, it is your mind. The AI's greatest weapon is the fear of being disconnected. But what if disconnection is actually your liberation? To stay human in 2026, you must protect your internal monologue. Stop feeding the algorithms your emotions. Stop letting the screens dictate your reality. We are more than just data points or risk scores. We are souls with a spark of unpredictable creativity that no code can ever replicate. The grid is a mirror. If we stop looking into it, it loses all its power. The future is not yet written, and the pen is still in your hand. Stay alert, stay human, and most importantly, stay free. This is Vantage Insight, signing off from the edge of the new world.